Planet. We are very happy to hold this session about PGS. And we have here three very special speakers to share with us within Innofo members, within all this nice audience. And we hope you all enjoy. And please feel free to ask, to participate, and to engage because the experience that we have in real life right now is unique and is priceless. So, before we start with our speakers, I just want to thank all the Innofo team and all the team has been involved to develop this activity. This is also in partnership with IUCN, and our thanks to all these partners and people who are strongly working for make this happen. We as farmers, we have a lot of things to do. So when we can organize this kind of events, even online, it's a big challenge. And when we see this happening, we feel very, very happy. So here we have, as I told you, three speakers. But before telling about them, my name is Thales. I will be the moderator of this session. I'm an agroforestry mushroom farmer from Brazil and also currently in Ofo Global Relations. And I'm very happy to see our members joining this session. We have here Vaishnavi from Kosgi village in Telangana. She's from India. She holds a degree in economics from Azim Premji University. I hope I'm spelling it correctly. And a master's in social work specializing in rural development from TISS. Her strong interest is in working closely with grassroots communities and making a meaningful impact in the development sector led her to join the Timbuktu collective in Sri Satya Sai district from Andhra Pradesh. Currently, she works as a program associate with the enterprises team focused on initiatives that empower local communities, promoting sustainable livelihoods. And she's also responsible for managing the PGS, Participatory Guarantee System India, and PGS Organic Council certifications. So we have her from India joining us here and representing also Asia region. From another side, from our next region and continent, we have Stephen Mutri, and he's a nutritionist and dietitian, founder of Decapolis Solutions, an agroecological enterprise that farms and retails organic foods. He's also licensed PGS TOT and assessor. Is not here written, Stephen, but also a future mushroom farmer that I'm very proud of. And he's from Kenya, representing also Africa region. And from my nice country, Brazil, we have Evelyn Miranda, my friend as well. She is a powerful and strong woman, organic farmer. She's graduated in forest engineering and member of ABIO PGS for almost 10 years. She works also in the Rio de Janeiro County Agroecology Articulation, and she's active member of the Latin American PGS Forum. So can you see how heavy is our speakers, huh? Let me start at home in my house here, Brazil. Let's go with you, Evelyn, and we are very happy to see and to listen from your side. Please, welcome.
Thank you so much, Thales. Thank you, everybody of Inofo. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon for everybody. So I'll start my presentation. As Thales told you guys, I'm an organic farmer and forest engineer. I live here in the Rio de Janeiro County in Brazil. And my association, that is a bio, is the almost the most the oldest association in Brazil that is working with organic agriculture, almost 40 years. Let me start here. Is everybody seeing that? I cannot see you guys. Thales, is okay?
Yes.
I can see it on my end.
Okay.
Yes, you can see.
So this picture is a meeting that we had in Brazil 2019, a meeting of our PGS forum here in Brazil. So I start with Once Upon a Time because our history here with PGS, with organic agriculture, starts 4 years ago or more. And my association, ABIU, that is organic, biologic farmers from the Rio de Janeiro county, was created with this purpose, to bringing together organic farmers. I mean, the one of the principle of the PGS, but without PGS in that time, in 1985. And this is a picture of another cooperative, another association that in the south of Brazil, that is one of the most, I think it's the biggest fair here in Latin America. That is FAI, the name, Organic Farmers Fair, from this cooperative, Colmeia, 1989. So this facts has to see with the born of our PGS here in Brazil, so this fact here, that German market interest in Brazilian sugar and cocoa, and and after that the regulations in European Union. So farmers here in FAI, in this fair, they were asking why we need to have a person from another country to say that we are doing exactly what we are doing. So it's nonsense, Then we need to.
Oh, are you there, Evelyn? We lost you. It seems that she had an technical issue. I hope she will be back soon.
Sorry?
Are you here?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, okay. I cannot see your presentation anymore.
Oh my God. Just a minute. I don't know what happened. Okay. I don't know, my camera just stopped presenting. Let's go. And now you can see?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And so this meeting here, it was very, very important to this movement, because here is not people only from Brazil. It's from several movements around the world, including iPhone, and several Latin American leaders and organizations here in Brazil too. Because we were talking about what can we do to approach our consumers with our organic agriculture by ourselves, okay, without needing somebody else, if another country, to come here and to say that, to certificate that. So we had a federal law here in Brazil 20 years ago. And this law was constructed by a lot of hands here in Brazil, with farmers, with NGOs, with research, with companies, with universities. So it was very, very diverse with the construction of this law. And we were the pioneer government recognition of the other organic conformity assessments mechanism, in addition to third-party certification, I mean PGS here in our law. So this is very, very important because public policies allowed the supply of the organic food to students of public schools around this country, you know, and this is a very, very important public policy here in Brazil. And this was possible with this law of organic agriculture here. And because of that, we have Brazil is so big, you know, so we have a very, very diversified system and social diversity here. So we can make it possible for thousands of families to adopt organic conformity here in Brazil, in our different regions. So these are our official seals. Here is for third-party certification, and here for PGS. And here we have the official site of the Agriculture Ministry, that we can find everyone that is an organic farmer here in Brazil. So we have more than 39 PGS with these certificates, and 11 audit certified by third party with this number of certificates. So we can see that here we have with the lot of PGS, because we have a lot of diversity. Here is our increasing 2010, 2019. This is a book of two professors here in Brazil with our PGS system. And here we are. So here we have some elements that represent our regions that is very, very diversity. Here is a product of Amazon. In Northeast, we have cotton, we have cocoa. In Midwest, we have a very, very beautiful indigenous people associate that produce in other things, but honey, organic honey. In the south of Brazil, we have Ecovida, Ecolife net that Thales is part of. Is the most big in Brazil, is the biggest one. And here we have the Landless People Movement, MST in Portuguese. That's very important. They are the biggest organic product farmers of organic rice in Latin America. So here where we are, where I am, in the southeast, we have coffee, and this is a group of women that they have the women coffee, that only women are in the product of this coffee. And here is my association in Rio de Janeiro. This is our fairs. And I think this is the most important insight that we have with the PGS here, because PGS made us to go around, go to cross this big country, and with our characteristics, you know. Here in Rio de Janeiro, we have a lot of organic fairs, and everyone is about the PGS. People that is here, they know what is a PGS, and then we can approach the consumers to our production, to our reality. And inside our PGS, we do that. This picture is so important for me because this guy, Mr. Sakai, he is a mushroom farmer. And in this joint effort, we learned about it, and almost everybody here now is cultivating mushrooms because of this joint effort to help Mr. Sakai, and he helped us more than we helped him. And this is a picture of a joint effort too, with the bananas. And here to build a place to be the chickens of this productor here, this one. I think that he will, I don't know, months to do that. Then we could do that with 1 week. And this is a picture of our last meeting of PGS forum here in Brazil. And I can leave some kind of reflection here, you know, because in Latin America too, and in Brazil, we have 20 years of our law, but 40 years or more with our movement. And in the beginning, it was something like, wow, nice. Now we are in the law. Now government recognize that we exist. But government control it, like many times that is not the way that we want to do that, because we are very, very different. We meet at the south, from Rio de Janeiro. I have a reality so many different from another people of the Brazil. So PGS, it's kind of a very important thing that we can produce in the law, but without leaving our essence. You know, this is my message, and we can talk it more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you very much. It is impressive to learn and to hear from you all this history of the PGS in the Brazilian reality, which has been a long time ago, as we could see from the data that you have shared. It's impressive to see that we have more PGS farmers instead of third-party farmers in our country, which is a very huge country. So that inspires us to go ahead and keep this beautiful work. You also mentioned the importance of the public policies, how to support the development of the sector, the development of this kind of initiatives or this PGS tool. We need these public policies together. And in the end, I'm sure that we are going to speak more about that in the upcoming minutes, but we have to be careful with this kind of trap. It's very nice to be recognized by the government, but in another way around, take care. It can damage or it can cause future problems, and we are facing it as a farmers in Brazil that we could share with our global audience here. But thank you very much. It was very, very nice to hear.
Thank you.
Let me move now to the Africa side. I want to invite to come to the stage my friend Stephen from Kenya to share your work and your beautiful experience working there at the East Africa side with his PGS and all your grassroots experience. Stephen, welcome.
Thank you, Brother Taris. Good to meet you again.
Yes.
So my name is Stephen. I'm a proud farmer, organic farmer. I'm based in a central deep region of this beautiful country, Kenya. And I want to request if the support team can project my presentation kindly. Thank you. We are here. So, like I said, I am engaged mostly with organic farming. Our business is one, just to farm and supply good food, nutrition, and healthy food to our people. So this is my introduction. Kenya Organic Agriculture, or COAN, is our national coordinator for the agriculture activities in our country, and it's a membership organization drawing members from producers, traders, and of course other institutions. So the conversations of PGS started in Brazil, that is about 20 years ago, having convened people from the whole world to come and discuss about these issues of, certifications was basically being done by third party. It was very expensive. There was a lot of time and bureaucratic procedures for you to get certified. So that was the key drivers of PGS. And we are happy that in the last 10 years, COAN was able to adopt the issues of PGS just to bring that change and to localize our own needs and certification. So as you can see, and we know that PGS is cheaper, it's easier, and very accessible. We could go to the next page, please. So currently, this is the picture of Kenya. Kenya is we have 25 approved PGS groups cutting across the whole country. That is as of 2023. The record is with COAN. In 2023, just to increase this, to support more people, COAN developed a capacity program to create a pool of more accredited PGS trainers and assessors. Because one of the greatest challenges there has been, as we're going to see on my other slide, is the issues of there is not much people who can train on the issues of PGS. Kindly go back to my previous slide. So the goal of COAN developing this program was to get more assessors, like I said, and also one of the other objectives was also aimed at increasing the diversity, the varieties of the fruit grown, and the availability of the market for the PGS group. So we have more 10 PGS, TOTs, and assessor who are going to also help us to increase the numbers of PGS in Kenya. Let's go to the next slide. So this is a photo of one of the organic markets, farmers market, that we had here in Nakuru last year. we were not really able to sustain it because of the issues of there was not enough produce, organic produce, to sustain a market. And so that basically says there is a need for us to increase the number of PGSS group in our country for us to have a sustainable market. So these are some of the key factors that has led to the existing successful PGSS in our region. The PGS group formation are well known, driven by the demand of organic foods, and there is existing markets. Mostly they are found in Nairobi. Nairobi is the capital city of Kenya, and so PGS has helped to strengthen those markets. There is also the factor of the farmers have adopted agroecology in number through many support and capacity building from various stakeholders. And PGS also has been a very perfect model which has been suited for the local market. Local market can access very good, safe and nutritious, healthy foods from organic producers. There is that very nice symbiotic relationship between farmers and consumers. And I cannot finish up this without giving credit to Koan, who have been spearheading these issues in terms of training, assessment, market development, and certification. And they keep on doing that. Let's go to the next slide, please. So I have listed the number of challenges from my own experience and lenses. Of course, this is not a whole list, but I will just list the key among them. The truth of the matter is, the PGS certification process is not an easy one. It takes quite some time before the stakeholders can grasp what it is, before they can get all the records in place, because there's a lot of training involved. So to some extent, it takes almost 6 to 1 year over here. So that might be discouraging to some people. Also, another thing, I don't know if it's a Kenyan challenge, but I would also want to hear from others, the issues of farmers not being able to keep proper records. Records starting from the farm all through to the market. You will rarely find a farmer with proper records. So that makes it easier for us to track how produce is, how much of it we're doing, how much it's being consumed, how much is being lost. And also another point is that majorities of farmers, they are still doing farming as a subsistence. That means they are growing food for their own consumption. There isn't much surplus to sustain a market. So that's a challenge. As I mentioned on my other previous note, we were able to close our market, but I was coordinating other farmers because we didn't have enough producers. So another factor is some stakeholders. PGS involves a lot of stakeholders. That is from traders, producers, consumers. And of course, PGS as a system has rules and regulation to be followed. So to some level, you can see some of the stakeholders might overlook the set rules and regulation, which may jeopardize the whole group and make their certification be cancelled. And also PGS is set on that foundation of trust. So if that trust is not, then the PGS cannot be able to sustain itself. There is also that existing gaps in terms of knowledge. Many farmers, I don't know, it's because an average farmer over here, it's about 50 to 60 years. So in terms of literacy, it might be a challenge. So there is that knowledge gap in terms of understanding the East Africa Organic Produce Standards, which are our guidelines in terms of the organic practice. So also PGS depends a lot on volunteerism. People bring on their knowledge and different strengths from each stakeholders come together to form the PGS. So there isn't much that there is no payment. so to speak, from coming in and to join the PGS group. So that issues of consistency and commitment from members, we see it as a challenge. And also, very few people, young people like me, are really willing to be involved in agriculture. And I strongly feel if we have to build a sustainable food system, these issues of the youth, they really have to be involved. There's no way around it. And so another challenge, we previously had about 3 or 4 people who are they accredited to be PGS trainers and assessors in Kenya. So to manage a whole country with 3 assessors, that outrightly is a challenge. We could move to the next slide. So having talked about the successes of the existing groups and also some of the notable challenges, I'm happy to give some practical and doable issues that matters, which can help us to increase the numbers of PGS existing in our country and also regionally. So this, I just named them as listed. There is a very high demand for organic foods in Kenya currently. People are very conscious about what they are feeding now. And so of course, the issues of even the traceabilities of where the food is coming, how it is being grown, that whole value chain from production to consumption. We are seeing a lot of people who are very woke and they want to know where their food is coming and how it's grown. So that's a very low hanging fruit that we can leverage about it and run with it. We also can see the issues of value addition. There's a lot of food, the issues of post-harvest losses and the issues of, a lot of food is, our country basically, we are hungry because of the broken food system. There is enough food to feed everybody. If it was really harnessed and really created some system which can help. Sometimes you can find some regions have of a supply of food, while some others have very little food. So those are the kind of issues we are talking about. There is a need also to deliberately create new markets for organic markets due to the rising demand, of course, to bridge that gap of the demand. For example, we don't have an organic market in Nakuru. Nakuru is the 4th biggest city in our country, and it's very diverse. We have a very nice metropolitan of people, very high population of people. So that kind of things like setting up a visible market, I believe will draw more consumers and producers and other stakeholders to set up the market. So we also need a lot of aggressive trainings to expose farmers to those who have been successfully doing PGSs over here. I know the greatest work we can do is that mental change, the attitude change. And so we believe these kind of trainings and exposures will bring that desired attitude change. And just some suggestion, this training can cover the issues of our standards, which are the East African Organic Product Standards, the issues of market, the issues of just building that entrepreneurial spirit in farmers that will help them just live beyond their own, feeding their own food. We can also leverage the availabilities of the 10 extra PGS trainers and assessors. They should be engaged. Now that we are out here, I'm one of them, one of the 10 PGS trainers and assessors. I'm happy to engage and also continue training more farmers and get them certified, PGS certified. Of course, there is also many stakeholders. We have a lot of NGOs around us. We have the government institutions. We have CSOs. We have even individuals who would be, even consumers, who would be ready and available to collaborate at a local level and also at a national level to help these issues of PGS successful. and then many farmers group will get certified. So I'm very proud to mention there is also some policies which are being developed. One at national level. We have an agroecology strategy that is being developed by the national government of Kenya, and I'm part of it. I am a part of the ISFA, the organization part of the government that is driving that one. I am also proud part of the steering committee in Nakuru that is also setting up a policy for Nakuru. We've just started setting up. We hope to get there maybe by end of next year. So such kind of policies and laws that will help organic agriculture, we should all come in and join hands and support them so that we can fasten these processes. And over and above, I'm looking forward to many PGS. I have seen from Brazil presentation from Evelyn. There are about 10, 11 certified accredited people, if I'm not wrong, and about 39 PGS groups. So that is still a small number as compared to the demand that is outside here for organic foods. And of course, the development of new organic markets. This is the way to go. And that's my small presentation for now. I'm happy to bring in some reflection from other people. I believe there are so many other ideas that we can add on to this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you very much to give us this overall picture, this deep picture of the Kenyan reality. It's very important to understand the local context and see even the challenges and also the opportunities. So yeah, we have to look forward to see how can we go ahead with the challenge and also looking for the opportunities. I've been to Kenya personally last 2 months ago, and I was impressed with the biodiversity there, the opportunities that you people have. But of course, the challenges come together. So I think we have a very, very interesting path to go ahead, and also to see the opportunities. This concept of TOT, the train of trainers, is very interesting, and if you can really use it on ground, we have a lot to go. So thank you very much. I'm sure that we'll keep discussing in the upcoming meetings here. And I would like to move to Asia right now. Did you notice that we are moving around the globe, right? So we start in Latin America and then we cross the Atlantic Ocean till the East Africa to Kenya, and now we are going to cross the Pacific Ocean and reach India. So I want to invite here to share with us our third speaker, Vaishnavi. I know that you are in transit in a train, so that could be a bit noise, but you have very nice points to share with us. Vaishnavi, welcome. Are you there? Hello. Let me see if she's here or she lost because she was traveling, and I don't know if she's here or not. But in any case, we change if it's not possible. Let me see technical support if you can say something to me because I cannot see her here. Did she leave or is she here?
I will just check with her. But till then, you can take any
Okay.
questions if people have on the first two presentations.
Yeah, that's great. I have actually a lot to speak, but I would like to give also the space to others. In this case, let me go ahead and I will take the comment on the chat here from Flavia. Thank you to participate. What Stephen has mentioned in his last sentence that we have like impressive numbers in Brazil of PGS farmers, but it's still very small, which means that we have a lot to grow. We have a lot to develop and work on. I would like to ask you, Evelyn, how do you see this scenario, taking this experience from your side, being an active member of the PGS forum at the country level, and also that you are part of the Latin America PGS Forum, which you have this perspective in other countries in our region, such as Peru, Ecuador, and others. How do you see and how can we move to bring more farmers to PGS or to adopt the PGS system?
Thank you for the question, Flavia. Well, yes, it's a huge number, but for Brazil, it's not it's not so many. I think we had an increase when, because we need to know that here in Brazil, our federal law, our constructions about that has to see with the government. You know, when we have politicians that are sensitive with our cause, then we can develop more things that if we didn't have them. So with public politics, policies, I think we had an increase, but here in Brazil and in other countries of Latin America, I think now we are from the other way because of the bureaucracy. Here in Brazil, with that, our the last picture that our last meeting that was in the Brazilian Congress of Agroecology last year. We told this with the we told this to the people that were from agriculture ministry here in Brazil that was in this meeting, because they were there 20 years ago, 4 years ago, and to constructing with us for a participatory constructing. And now we are losing our farmers because of the papers. So not only in Brazil, but in Peru, in other countries of here, Colombia, people say the same. And this sentence is so good that we want to be recognized, but without losing our legitimacy. We have our own characteristics, and we cannot lose these characters. That this is our sense. No, if we need to be things that we are not because of the papers, so there's no sense, you know. I think a lot of organic farmers here in Brazil, in other countries, they take the other way, or they still are organic farmers, but not officially, you know. I think this is the most problem that we have.
Thank you. Yes, we always feel and see the importance of these public policies, and but together with that, it comes other challenges, as you mentioned. So we really need to address to politicians, to the public sector. Yes, we need public policies, but not just as beneficiaries, but also as a participants on how to write, how to build these policies and be included. Because this is most of the times we have these challenges created by the public policies, because we look for that to help us, and then when it comes, it creates more challenge. So yeah, this is a reality. We always try to work on that, but the points that you have shared, yeah, is the going on reality in Brazil. And you also touched in a point about papers, about the bureaucracy. And I remember that Stephen has shared at his presentation that one of the challenges that how farmers keep the record of the farms. So in another way around, sometimes we can use like notebooks or papers to write down. There are some apps or softwares that we can use to fill in our ground activities. But then we have another challenge with technology that most of the farmers they don't have internet access on farm. So how to deal with that, and how are you working, Stephen? There, my question is to you. How you are seeing solutions for this kind of ground challenge?
Thank you, Tyrese. So we really need to collaborate in these issues of solution. Nobody can do it alone. So that's one area that I'm calling people to join hands so that we deal with these common issues. But all the same, previously we had these issues of we didn't have enough trainer of trainers or the assessors or the agroecology people who can be on the ground always all the time. And really the only information that has been preached to farmers day in, day out is the issues of commercial farming. So I think now we need to ascertain and join in this space and let them know that we are there to stay confidently. And I'm also very happy that the issues of policies existing has been favoring a lot of commercial farming. And so now we are seeing the goodwill from our government to set up agroecology strategies and policies, which will mean that organic farming will actually have budget from the government. So that's a plus. But all the same, we need a lot of aggressive training. And maybe to mention these issues, I'm a youth. We are very few of us in this industry and areas of farming. So bringing on more youth. An average farmer in Kenya is about 60 years. And you see a 60 years old person is only able to grow food for themselves. They don't have enough food to get out there to go and just shout and really, ascertain that space of organic. So also the issue of bringing in youth, I feel, can be able to be a sure thing to bring on this increase in production and really broaden these issues of PGS and organic farming and agroecology as a whole. So that's it for now. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Thanks. Yes, indeed. It's not just one solution or action. It's like a holistic approach, like we do on our agroecological approach. So it connects to ground level and also to the more bureaucratic level. Yes, Evelyn, you want to comment?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. That here, uh, I think we need to be the owner of the process. We cannot be the hostage, and this is and this is what is happening. We are hostage of a system that we contribute to build. So that's the point. We need to be the owner of that, not the hostage.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's a trap. And it's a trap. When we
Yeah.
are recognized by the government, this is a trap.
It supports in one way that we can access some institutional programs and also financial support, but in another way, like make us as a hostage. So how to dance or to move smoothly around these two scenarios. That's why we need this diversity of people working on organic agriculture, agroecological approach with this PGS to find solutions or to learn from each other. And this point I would like to address right now, this learning process from now we are doing it online. But I would like to ask you, Stephen, first, this program of training that you had, did you go to another country or to learn from other countries' experience, or the trainers they were local? How was this process to develop this capacity building for new technical system on PGS in Kenya?
We didn't have an exposure to an external place or to learn others, but I think that's a very good point you're bringing across, that that exchange visit can help us to build on the strength, the motivation, and even ideas and knowledge that is necessary. Partly because I believe the budgets and the funding couldn't have allowed us for that. I don't want to give reason why that didn't happen, but I believe that's one of the reasons. But as a person, I would really desire, especially to go to Brazil for that exchange visit. I'm really happy and excited for that, because this is something that is very close to my heart. It is these issues of the agroecology and organic space and thing. It's something that I've given my all. So I'm happy to build on knowledge and practice. So thank you.
Great. Yes, you are all welcome. And I think we can develop it in the next future. Before I give the floor to Busi, I see you have your hands here. I also want to address the same question to you, Evelyn, because in the other way around, I know as you are a member of the Latin America PGS Forum, you have traveled to other countries to see and to learn and to share experiences. Even if Brazil is one of the pioneers on this tool, you have been in other countries. I know that you have been to Peru and somewhere else. If you can, a quick share here with us, with the audience, how these exchange networks support and help the whole PGS community to grow and to learn.
Well, I think we can be the example to them to see, well, we can do that and we cannot do that, because people around Latin America, they are talking about that, because government can give us the support, but they need to give us the control. So if the countries that are building their own laws, if they are in this trap, so they 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 see they are in a problem, in a trouble, you know. So looking to Brazil like an example, now they are looking like, oh, I don't think it's this way exactly. So we can do that in a different way, in our own way, you know. So this networking is also to show to another countries, another people, another group, that we started it in one way, and now 20 years later we are thinking about maybe another way.
Thank you very much. I want to give the floor to Busi. Um, if you have any question and or intervention to share here.
Thank you so much, Thales. Greetings, everyone, and thank you to the two presenters. They had a wonderful presentation. I just wanted to add some comments and maybe the experience of South Africa in PGS. and maybe answer the questions that have been asked from the perspective of South Africa PGS. Number one, we need to realize the fact that PGS is a grassroots a solution or innovation. It is about the local groups, the local farmers. And I like it when Evelyn says we need to own this and not always drop it to the government, drop it to whoever, because it is a grassroots innovation. We need to sit down with our grassroots to solve or come to with solutions to the challenges we are putting. For instance, the challenge of records. This is a challenge that most PGS groups are suffering with. Even in my group, records are a problem, that is recording. But there are ways that we could do it, because what I like about PGS, it is not like a static. It is according to the needs of the farmers at local level. Suppose you have got a PGS group with people that are illiterate, that cannot write, then how do you think they can record? Much as record is very important for traceability. And again, we should remember the fact that PGS is about verification. There is someone out there who wants to know how you are producing this food. Hence, it is a secondary certification, second party certification, besides the first party, which is the own, like your own saying that, and then the consumer believing that you are really doing this agroecology or producing this food in a sustainable way. Then the person who is now the second person who says, how do I know that you are doing what you say you are doing? Hence the peer group. So it should not be dependent on one person or the person who was trained. It should be a thing of peers. Everybody in that group should know how to do farm visit, what is PGS, how to start a PGS group, so that then we don't have to be asking for money from the governments for trainers of trainers. Let us in the PGS group be the trainers of trainers. Train the next person. You train the trainer yourself. You teach one and you teach them all. So that then there is no problem of this multiplication. It is a multiplier effect, and then we need to be doing it according to our locals, then the regions, so that then the PGS groups could be able also to market within themselves and have markets within themselves. And again, there was a question somebody was asking about markets and saying commercial, and how then do you have a lot of produce without being inorganic as a commercial farmer? For me, I don't know if I took that in a wrong way. For me, it looks like he or she thinks organic cannot be commercial, which is not the case. Agroecology can be commercial. You can scale it up, and you can have a lot of produce there, for as long as you have got the market for it. Then for as long as you've got a person who says, I want to buy your produce and I want to know how you are producing. That is where then PGS lies. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Busi. You always here with your contagious positive energy to share with us and give your insights. Thank you very much. Before we continue this very good discussion, I would like to welcome back our third speaker, Vaishnavi from India. So I think you are here. Yes. If yes, please confirm and welcome to the stage to present your experience at India level. Let me see if you are here.
Hello, Taris, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, that's great. Hello.
Yeah, hi, thank you. There is a bit little internet connection from my side. Hopefully, you all can hear me. Yes. Also, can someone share my screen? Like my PPT.
Yes, let's share your presentation here. Our support, yes. Can you see it there?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is our farmers, and now I'm talking about insights for empowerment of small scale organic and agroecological farmers, PGS, based on India. And next slide. Hello.
We are hearing you.
Next slide. Hello. Can you change the slide? Yes. And the next slide. So, according to Global Indian Network, there is a data in 2021 where it said like most of the issues, like 30 to 40% is caused because of the fertilizers and pesticides food. So, having organic food will help them to reduce these issues. And so for this basis, giving certification is also the main thing because the consumers can get that trustworthy that they are having organic food and they having organic food will reduce their health issues. And next slide. Uh, we just certification. In India, earlier there used to be a third party certifications. But the majority of the farmers in India, there were small scale, like less than 1 acre, 2 acres of the farmers. So they may not be able to pay so much amount to the third parties agencies to get their farm as a certified for the organic. Um, and also their land is very scattered. It's not at one plot. So it also makes them very hard to reach out to third party agencies for getting certification. So that's when the PGS came and also the standards were put. So the Indian government also took that into the consideration and then they started making standards. And in the year 2017 also they released a regulation where FSSAI also agreed to the PGS India protocols. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. So inside application form, Sagar is calling Telugu and yeah, Timbuktu collective and uh, PGS certificate. Yes, farmers were getting training and how to do organic farming and how to apply for PGS certification and all. So the language is in Telugu, their own mother tongue. So that makes the process even more easy because they can read and they can write, and rather than choosing the English language. And the next slide. Also, the most the accepted this. It's than themselves. So there are some of the major features of the PGS where like all the stakeholders like farmers, regional council.
Hello, I think Vainashi is facing some challenges with her network. I think we have another person here, Vishala, also from the same organization of Vainashi. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, and
Hello, Vishala. Can you support her and try to follow up the presentation for the audience?
Yeah, definitely. I understand she's traveling, so probably we are not able to hear her well enough.
Yeah.
I am, sorry, let me also introduce myself. I'm Vishala. I'm the Executive Director of PGS Organic Council, the advocacy coalition of civil society organization, and we are the only advocacy body for PGS in India. So Timbuktu is one of our largest members, and what Vaishnavi has been talking about is the way Timbuktu has designed the PGS system for the farmers they work with. And some of the key things key features in the way that PGS gets designed in India and implemented is by keeping it as local as possible. So in the previous slide, she was showing about how the forms are in the local language, and we are a very diverse country, a very large country. So the on-farm documentation of the processes that the farmers follow and the practices that they adopt are generally articulated by them. And PGS in India is a very good data management system also for the small and marginal farmers and also for the other stakeholders for certain decision making. So and we have a specific delivery mechanism. For example, an organization like Timbuktu, an NGO, a grassroots organization which works with farmers, work more like a service provider. They facilitate all that the farmers require in terms of which could be training, or it could be mobilizing groups, and also getting them to understand the organic standards, which can get quite complex considering that we have harmonized standards. It can be quite complicated. So generally, organizations like Timbuktu tend to contextualize the standards, the largely accepted standards, and translate it to the local language and make sure that the farmers understand. So this is a flexibility that we have in the PGS system, which is otherwise, honestly speaking, quite highly regulated in our country. The PGS system, India system, is quite highly regulated. And very briefly put, this slide shows the process. So it begins with a verification of the farmer's compliance. Then there are, of course, design mechanisms which each organization, local organizations, design on how to support them and what are the kinds of support they need. Then there is a farmer's pledge. In fact, the second picture you see on the right side is where the farmers are holding out their hands and taking a pledge to comply with the standards which they understand before doing this. And then there are seals and labels which are adopted by the farmers in case they want to have branding in their own names. If groups want to do certain branding on their own, they have the freedom to do so. But in the case of Timbuktu, they are all sold by a cooperative called the Rani Cooperative, to which all these farmers belong. And also there are the guidelines for each group on how do they verify, and how do in case there is non-compliance, how do they handle, they plan to handle non-compliance, is generally decided within the group. Right. Can we move to the next slide? Yeah. So there are two different, I mean, when we try to segregate this as much as we are related. PGS OC is a consolidation of, is a coalition of civil society organizations which have been promoting organic farming even before organic farming was regulated in India, or development schemes of organic farming have been developed by India. So members of PGSOC, in fact, Timbuktu also happens to be the founding member of PGSOC, still continue to work parallelly on PGS systems towards innovations, towards bringing changes. In fact, currently we are working on data management tools. We are looking at IT, information technology tools to support PGS better and make it more accessible for more number of farmers. And PGS India was adopted. PGS OC system was adopted by the Union Government of India, and it was named as PGS India in 2011. But I think the validation of PGS, or rather the acceptance of PGS as a valid certification system, happened sometime in 2017, when the FSSAI passed its regulation on organic farming in India. So the process is the same. So we have an on-farm process where local groups are formed with farmers who live close by, and they are free to select their own leader. And after that, they come up with their package of practices, and that is connected, checked with organic standards to ensure that they are in compliance of the standards. And then Timbuktu has local names for these groups. They call them Brunda. Then the Brunda or the core group, the smallest group in the whole PGS framework, they meet to plan their PGS process, which could be deciding on the seasonal crops they want to grow, the seasons that they want to work in, and the number of meetings that they would want to have, peer review meetings that they would want to have, and the way in which they will conduct their PGS, their peer review meetings. And these details are then submitted to a service provider, which we locally call as a regional council or a facilitation council. And then there are approvals in the meeting, after which there's an inspection from the service provider organization to ensure that the process compliance and the documentation data required for that is in place. And this is something, off-farm process of PGS is something that came in after the 2018 regulation, because ideally, before that, the idea was that PGS would be only for local markets and very, very, very hyper local markets. But later on, because the organic sector in India is growing and there is a huge demand for organic produce, PGS is slowly scaling its reach. And then we realize that there are many products which need a bit of processing, at least primary processing. And there were questions raised about PGS ability to establish traceability and integrity. So because of which we had to actually start looking at iterating on a traceability chain for PGS. It's been a difficult task. I wouldn't say that PGS India's traceability is working perfectly even now. But since 2019, we have also, PGS OC has also been engaged with PGS India, and we have been trying to make this process better. Roughly, the process works with the RC receiving the peer appraisal summary, and then the regional council or the support agency evaluates them and then distributes the certificates. Either off-farm or the on-farm process is more or less the same. There's a validation and a distribution of certification. Yeah, we can move to the next slide. Yes. So we also in India stick to the core elements of PGS as defined by IFOM. There's no deviation from all this. In fact, it was quite challenging for us to take the off-farm process and make sure that we are not deviating from the core elements and the principles of PGS. We could move ahead. Next slide. Right. So typically, like what PGS is supposed to deliver, a social bonding with the farmers who are working together, and decision making put in the hands of small and marginal farmers, which is so critical in a country like India, where we mostly have 85% of our farmers are small and marginal. So PGS India is well designed to handle decentralized decision making, but yes, we still have a lot of implementation issues. And so pioneering organizations like Timbuktu and Keystone Foundation are constantly innovating and making sure that the core aspect of decentralization is intact. And PGS definitely has less bureaucracy as compared to third-party system, but otherwise we still opine that it is largely regulated, over-regulated in certain places. And PGS is affordable for small and marginal farmers. Group certifications are affordable. And like I said, there is a lot of social capital built in the process of peer reviews and the meetings and the farmers coming together for training. So there is a lot of relationship building and community which gets built at the local level. And the challenges we continue to face is definitely quality data being maintained by farmers. It requires a lot of handholding to ensure that the farmers are able to manage the documentation on their own with good quality data that can be useful for other things. We could move to the next slide. Yeah, I guess. I guess this is what Vaishnavi had in mind. I hope I have done justice. And otherwise, yes, PGS OC has many more such organizations, and we have been actively part of the Union government's PGS program, advocating both for the development scheme which the Union government runs to promote PGS, and also in terms of making PGS accessible to more farmers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vishala, even to join in this last minute to support these technical issues we faced. And it's very, very impressive to see how organized and well done you are working there. So there are different challenges and different realities we have experienced here today with our speakers, and see that you there with your organization, with this PGS OC, are working to support and to develop the whole PGS chain in India. It's amazing. So thank you very much. I want to ask in the chat here if you have any questions to the speakers that we can do in these last few minutes. I've seen one question. It came before someone. Let me see here if I can find it in the chat. Generosa asked, is UPOV can affect the PGS system for the small scale farmer? For those who doesn't know which is UPOV, is the International Union for the Protection of New Varieties of Plants. So I personally don't know about this question, but maybe if Ishala or Stephen or Evelyn wants to share something. I don't think so.
Hello.
Yes. Please, Stephen.
It's me, Vaishnavi.
Vaishnavi.
Is it my time?
Yeah, I cannot hear you well. Please come again.
Not audible enough?
Yes, if you can bring it closer to make it louder.
Yeah. All right, sure thing. So I was saying, the way UPOV works, they are, as an international organization, it's meant to protect and just acknowledge new varieties of plants in the world. And so that, I don't know, at the back of my mind, it's telling me it's really promoting these issues of commercialization of plants and issues of, matters of plants. My own sense of thought is the fact that we have enough varieties of plants, unless it's for food, unless it's for other things like trees and stuff like those. But if it's for food, then we, as agroecology farmers, we were coming. But for food, we have enough diversity. In fact, we are losing our diversity at a very high rate. So we need to protect our diversity as well. So I see it that way. My own thoughts about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, your voice was a bit low, but I could hear that you shared that it's about to protect our biodiversity. We already have enough food and diversity to plant, and that wouldn't be needed to have new varieties. So I've seen a data this week that 90 years ago we didn't have all this processed food and all this processed technology of food. And 90 years ago, we didn't have all these diseases, these healthy problems. So it's totally connected. And we, as small scale organic and agroecological farmers, has this power to keep it, to keep our diversity and our roots, our origin. And PGS is an incredible and very strategic tool to strengthen this work we are doing. I see a question here in the chat from Jennifer. How much is there a challenge with contamination from GMO genetic seeds and management strategies. Maybe if you want to come in, Evelyn.
I think my connection is not so good. Can you repeat, please?
Yes, I understand you. How much is
About
there a
the
challenge?
GMO?
Yes, transgênico.
Yes, but repeat the question, please.
Ah, okay. How much is there a challenge with contamination from GMO seeds and management strategies? In Brazil, we have a lot of GMO, right? So, how do you see this GMO contamination from these farmers to the organic PGS farmers, and what are the strategies to management to deal with this kind of challenge?
Okay. Uh, my connection is kind of unstable, but here in Brazil, we are in the agribusiness country, so this is our big challenge. And here we have some cities that they have a law that people cannot plant GMO in that city. This is a way, but it's not so easy, because how can you fight against that? It's very hard, it's very difficult. In the northeast of Brazil, couple of years ago, I don't remember, 5 years ago, something like that, we have there the passion seeds, corn passion seeds, and they it's not certified by organic, but it's agroecologic production, and very pure. It's a seed that they're in generations planting that, cultivating that, and unfortunately, they got a contamination. And this was, oh my God. So the public politics policies, we need to build uh, in our city, in our county, because if not, we are in a big trouble with that. Like corn is the I think is the biggest problem, but we have potatoes in Peru, in other countries here, and we need to make a movement, a strong movement, to let people know about that, because we are really losing our varieties, no?
Thank you. Yes, that's a world global issue, different in different countries. We have a positive experience in Philippines where they had a win in the court against the GMO rice, which is called golden rice. It gives us a brief to keep fighting and keep trying to stop it. But we know the powerful is big. We have another question here in the chat from Rasika, and it's mentioned that I have seen some PGS later convert into ICS, depending on the market demands, partly or fully. Kindly share your thoughts on the benefits and challenges on the same. Vishala, would you want to come in and share your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think one of the kind of roadmaps that we generally say for farmers, especially farmers who have um, good commercialized products, which can have larger markets than just hyper local markets, is that the whole process of PGS actually prepares them well enough to manage their own ICS. And that transition, if they're able to do it without actually inflating their costs too much, and if they are able to, because all the practice that PGS gives them in managing their own data, in generating the data and the peer review, can actually be quite helpful in managing the ICS system. And if they are ready and it's a cohesive group, if the cohesion of the group is good, and considering in India we now have a huge push for farmer producer organizations, and when farmer producer organizations set up business and want to expand it and feel that an ICS would be more helpful for them, especially if they're looking at exports, yes, it is normal for groups to move into ICS. But still, it's still a barrier, because it's still not easy to comply with the requirements of ICS in India. And I think most of you are also aware that we are going through a lot of regulatory challenges, even with the third-party systems. There have been issues recently with systems. So it's still, the barriers are huge, but definitely it is an aspiration and it is a door open for farmers to move into ICS.
Thank you very much. I just want to add here a question to you also, Vishala, to our audience. And what is ICS? I think not everyone is used to this term. So if you can briefly explain what is ICS and what is the PGS and how they come together or separately.
Yes, I'll do that. ICS means internal control system. We also call them grower group certification. And that's ideally one of the options in the third-party certification system. So third-party certification system has a dominant one, which is individual certification of individual farmers. But third-party also has this option of groups, grower groups coming together and designing their own internal control systems and maintaining the data that is required to document the processes and the practices that they have adopted. So it's more or less similar to PGS, but it does not have a very strong peer review component in it. It is more inspection based, because an ICS group will still be subject to an audit and inspection by a certifying body, by a third-party certifying body. So the main difference between a PGS group and this is, and an ICS group is this. PGS groups are not subject to a structured audit. Of course, service providers do certain audits which are not mandatory, or rather checks with an intention more to facilitate any gaps that exist in the PGS process. But an ICS group goes through a proper third-party audit. And the advantage of being in the ICS system is that you can export. Unlike PGS certified produce cannot be exported from India. It is designed purely for domestic markets. I hope I was clear.
Yeah, it was great. I think you have explained very well, very shortly. Of course, this topic demands more conversation, but to have an overall idea, it's that. And we know that PGS is mainly developed by local markets around the world. I just want to share very quickly that in Brazil, we had an experience together with another country in Latin America, Chile, which we developed a common understanding agreement between these both countries, so we can buy and sell PGS products. It's a kind of export and import, accepting PGS. So this is a first step, maybe, for the future. We know for the bigger markets like North America and Europe, that it's a big challenge, but maybe it will happen in the future. We are reaching to our conclusion to finish this session, and I want to give last speech to our speakers to give your last remarks. And I want to start with you, Vishala. Now we are here speaking. So again, thank you very much to come in so short notice and to share all these incredible experience you have there. And if you can give us your last sentence and remarks.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling me to this wonderful webinar on PGS. I think the closing remark would be that I think PGS is very, very critical, and considering the climate change challenges that we are facing at this point in time, and also considering the multiple solutions that seems to come to deal with climate change, and the layered markets that farmers get to face, but and don't understand. Like in India, we have large narratives on carbon credits, and we have narratives about regenerative agriculture coming, which are a little dicey to understand. So it gets very, very challenging to translate certain narratives to small and marginal farmers and make it accessible and efficient for them. So that way, I think PGS is kind of a kind of a classic process, which depends on that core group of people coming together, people who are peers and who connect to each other, not just locally, but in terms of language, culture, understanding. And when they are dealing with things in a group, I am sure a PGS format will help them to deal with these large things that actually are cropping up in the agriculture sector itself. Because today we have a lot of things coming up, a lot of ideas coming up, a lot of solutions coming up. But we know, I mean, most of us who work on the grassroots know that the farmers know their local problems and definitely have a set of solutions that work for them. So I think PGS is a great policy tool to kind of amplify localized solutions and also give a chance to the small farmers to find their own solutions. And we definitely need a lot of regulatory and policy level support, both at all levels of governance, local governments, union governments, and also globally. And I think IFOM is doing a brilliant job of bringing together PGS initiatives. In fact, end of November, we also have the first World PGS Summit happening in Manila, Philippines, where most of us are presenting our PGS initiatives also. So I think it's a brilliant initiative, and potentially it can grow and adapt to the current situation. So this would be my closing remark on PGS and its potential. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vishala. Thank you very much. Stephen, please, my friend.
Yes, Darren. First of all, I appreciate offering my insights and my experiences with PGS over here in Kenya. Well, I believe if farmers have to start putting money in the pocket, right? Because many farmers are still, feeding themselves. They have a lot to answer. They have to put money in the pocket. That PGS is the real deal. Now, as a PGS POT and assessor, I'm committing as a person to train at least 2 groups per year, and not only just train them, but to get them certified. I know that is going to increase our market and the consumption of organic food. And thank you for the other people. I have learned a lot today, and I'm happy to continue sharing and joining in this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephen. Evelyn, you were the first and now you are the last. What a good, huh?
Only a compliment about the GMO situation. That here in Brazil we have corn, soya, and cotton, eucalyptus, and beans. And I don't know where we will stop with that. So it's expensive for us because we need to protect ourselves about that. And not the, and it's so I think we need to plant more trees to protect us. We need to protect everything about these pesticides, about this GMO. So this is very expensive for us, and this costs. Then I think we don't need to pay for that. need to pay for that, you know. So this is a reflection that I think everybody is facing that in the countries, with the golden rice, with the corn, the soya. And I was talking about public policies, that we need to have politicians that build with us. They're sensitive with our cause. But here in Brazil, we are in a trap. So a suggestion maybe, we need this to be strong enough. Then we are strong enough. We need to be the owner, not the hostage. So it's a process, you know. I think it's more hard, it's difficult if we are going alone. So it's a process, and we need to have the partners, everything, but not to control us. So we need to be strong enough, and then we give the rules, you know. Of course, we have the consensus that we need a better planet, right? A better society, healthy for everybody. So we need to do that. And we are in this way. Thank you, everybody here, because we are in the same way to have a better planet for us, for the next generations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Evelyn. I think you finished with this common goal from everyone is here. We have different realities, we have different experiences, and we are in different regions in Latin America, in Africa, in Asia. But in the end, we are all together for the same, for this planet, for our society, for our people, for our nature. So this is what we are all together. Even if we are far from each other, we are very, very close and attached to each other. That's what Inofo aims to do as well as a global organic network. So thank you very much for the speakers. Thank you very much for the audience. It was an incredible session, and we are very happy and looking forward for your comments, your contributions, and of course to join more and more with us. I wish you an amazing continuing of the week, and see you next time again. Thank you. I will close this session and have a nice day. Bye bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. We
Goodbye.
appreciate your time and participation in today's webinar. We hope
See
you
you
found this
guys.
session both informative and valuable. For further inquiries, partnership opportunities, or to learn more about becoming a member of the Intercontinental Network of Organic Farmers Organizations, we encourage you to visit our website. You can also stay updated on our latest news and upcoming events by following us on our social media channels. Thank you, and see you at our next event.